what it is? This is Kirby Miri here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another episode of Shin Hayarigami 2, possibly the final part for the half case episode 2. First of all, it's very good to see you all again. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a lovely day, afternoon, night, depending on your time zone. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking this moment of your time and watching today's video. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. If you guys enjoy this type of content, be sure to drop the like button. It really helps out a lot. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we'd appreciate it if you do. Also leave your comments and your thoughts on this video or anything in general. And yeah, so last episode, just to give a quick recap, we started very simple by going out to drinks with Senna, but then immediately later, a couple hours later, we got a call that another incident happened. Another victim had been split in half, but this time it wasn't like this was the center, but it was more like the bottom half. And obviously we concluded it's the same culprit, and it's a culprit who knew the victims, and it's also been decided it's going to be a ritual murder. A weird creepy thing happened in the middle of all of this, where the second victim's corpse moved and their lips moved and everything, trying to say something. Obviously nobody understood that. Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI obviously are oblivious, and they just think that it is something with the heat that made the corpse move, but we feel like it's something more than that. Then we go and talk with Kisaragi about the corpse and the possibility of being a ritual murder, yada yada. And then after Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI had left, Professor Kisaragi gets a call, and we get the exclusive, in a sense, to go visit the first victim's home, where she has two daughters, and basically her twin daughters, named MIKO and AMAKUSA. Though when we come to the house, only MIKO AMAKUSA is at the house, and she was one hell of a character so far. She's very creepy looking, she's very insane looking, and it's pretty obvious that she's the culprit, but Senna doesn't believe so, and because of that we, didn't get the chance to investigate her further. Like, literally they have the culprit probably right in front of their faces, and even if she's not the culprit, she could still be a suspect based on her behavior, and they didn't do anything just because of Senna. If I were in the main character's shoes, I would be like, in my mind I would be like, I'm arresting her, even if she's innocent, I don't care. But this is where the story's direction is going. So yeah, after that we came here to Professor Kisaragi's home now, to talk about more about the ritual itself. So yeah, that is pretty much it, what's been going on so far. Without further ado, we're just gonna straight up jump into this intro, so hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get to it. Let me move a couple of things here so I can get the mic closer. The mic, and I'll be able to read better text. Okay. I also gotta get a different controller, because the one I normally use had to be charged. It was out of battery just exactly I was about to record this. I see. You want details of the ritual so you can use it to track down the culprit. Yeah, based on what we discussed, you seem quite knowledgeable of that sort of thing. We moved to a shelter spot away from the rain and told Professor Kisaragi about our investigation so far. Professor, do you think the perpetrator is trying to summon the devil or something else? Goodness, Senna, so impatient. A stubborn man like you will get in trouble, But I'm the fastest man in the world. Yeah, whatever. Professor Kisaragi, I want to know your thoughts on this possibly being a ritual murder. Yes, of course. The meaning of a ritual murder is, as I said earlier, a murder carried out according to certain rules, procedures, and methods based on faith and religion. You're following me so far? Yeah. As Shin said, this includes the act of offering humans to the gods, be it their lives or themselves, as well as the act of human sacrifice. A good example would be the Aztec Empire, which once flourished in the southern part of North America. The blood rituals performed there are very common. It involves slicing a person's heart while they're still alive with an obsidian knife and offering it to the gods in prayer for a prosperous world and bountiful harvest. That's harsh. Although the details differ, the incident in question has something in common with the current one of a human being dismember. Then perhaps the killer took those halves of the bodies to offer them to the gods. You're feeling impatient too, Natty? Maybe. Apologies for the interruption. Please continue. Alright, back to the topic. She has a scary look in her eyes. In Japan, we get floods and storms, which were thought to be wrath of the gods, and there are many examples of human sacrifices being made to appease them. It's a situation that often appears in fairy tales. They're mostly known as myths, but there are also stories of Yamata no Orochi's defeat. It's the story of how Susanoo no MIKO rescues Kushinada Hime, who was about to be sacrificed to Orochi. You know it, right? Yeah. It was in the Japanese textbook I read as a child. The flooding of Orochi. It's often referred to as a sacrificial ritual to calm raging rivers, with Kushina Hime being regarded as a habitation or a field. Oh my god! When we turn around at the source of the voice, we see Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI standing there. We encountered them a lot today. That's because we're frenemies! Oh, good grief. Oh, Shin and MASAOMI came too. But you're also praying to find a solution here. Professor Kisaragi, please don't call me Shin. Do we look like people who pray? I'm only joking. Sen immediately has a toot around them as they approach us. The hell are you guys here for? If we're to pursue this case as a ritual murder, MASAOMI said we might find more information from Professor Kisaragi, so I had no choice but to tag along. Oh! From his expression, he clearly doesn't like Professor Kisaragi either. It's probably because she teases him a lot. When it comes to knowledge of a ritual murder, we won't lose to this case. As if despite us, Detective NIIMI keeps glancing at this Inspector KOUKETSU. Don't be so sulky, shit. Information plays an important role in an investigation. There's no harm in asking me to go. Well, if you're okay with it, MASAOMI, then I guess it's not a problem. That being said, I don't approve of you getting the best of me. But to save some time for Shin and MASAOMI, who are bravely trying to compete with me, I'll forgive them. It's the first time I heard Professor Kisaragi and Inspector KOUKETSU call each other by their names, as if they seem strangely familiar. Kisaragi is a higher rank, but Inspector KOUKETSU is older. Could there be some kind of close relationship between these two? They're probably besties. Oh, Natty. Why are you staring at me like that? Sorry, I was just staring at your boobs. I mean, nothing! Nothing! Nope, there's no time to be distracted by other things that are unrelated by the incident. It's nothing. Anyways, please continue. Of course. Why don't you two come over here instead? You won't be able to keep yourselves out of the rain like that. It's not necessary. We'll go back to investigating as soon as we finish talking. We don't plan on staying long. Goodness, everyone here is so impatient, and we haven't even started. Alright, let's continue. Professor Kisaragi brushes off her disappointment as a usual thing. I guess there's something going on after all. What are you going to do this time, huh, Shin? You bastard! Shin, don't make me say it again. I know! Inspector KOUKETSU manages to calm and enrage Detective NIIMI. We both have such troublesome partners. I'm gonna switch up now. I'm gonna go with Inspector KOUKETSU. So,
Mitsuko, what do you have to say?
Yes, about the ritual murder. As she was about to proceed, Professor Kisaragi looked my way, as if she's asking me to share our reasoning of why we're here. We also came for Professor Kisaragi's knowledge. If we're to guess the content of the ritual from the modus operandi of the crime, I guess it'd be best to approach the case from that angle and ask her.
I see.
Huh. So you also agree that this is a ritual murder after all?
Hey, Natty, you don't have to tell them everything to these guys.
There's no point in arguing. The most important thing is to solve the case, and sharing information may help achieve that. That is, if you can get some useful information about this.
I agree. No, Mitsuko, do you have any idea what the ritual involves?
I can't say for sure, but to some extent, the key is that unnatural plant toxin. Akanayan datura, right?
No lengthy explanations, just get to the point.
Goodness, so impatient. The answer is black magic.
Black magic?
It's a general term for evil spells, magic and sorcery that goes against the part of humanity. Cursing people, summoning demons, making your wishes come true, and the like. By definition, it also includes things like daily visits to the shrine. It's also a magic ritual that curses and kills in various manners and procedures.
Please don't mix unrelated, non-scientific topics. Besides, there's no such thing as a curse. It can't be explained by the belief that someone has put a curse on you and you will die, which is the result of self-suggestion.
Detective NIIMI snorts and turns away. Then, as if expecting this, Professor Kisaragi continues with a smile. Yes, of course, I know that. But there are many cases in this world that cannot be explained with science only. Even if it's true that a curse is a self-suggestion, it is only brought by believing in it and fearing the curse. It wouldn't be surprising if the curse was caused by an unscientific phenomenon, since science itself cannot explain the human mind. But Professor Kisaragi interrupts Detective NIIMI. As you can see, I am a lotus of an ancient Shinto family. That's why I can see things that other people can or simply don't want to see. Even things I've never wanted to see. I've seen how bitterness and resentment that comes from the belongings of the victims can drive people to insanity.
But that's unscientific!
As he says that, Detective NIIMI glances at Inspector KOUKETSU as if he's being overwhelmed by Professor Kisaragi. You just can't help but ignore it, right? You accept what's in front of you. That's what it's like with you.
But
oh dear, I'm not saying you should believe it wholeheartedly, but it's okay to at least be open-minded about it, you know? Authority and folklore can't explain things scientifically or find any common sense, so that's the reason why they're considered strange.
And authority and folklore? You're talking about Suimei Kirisaki.
That's right. I think it would be best in the future to be more open-minded, Shin. It is strange indeed. Not something that can be explained scientifically or with common sense. I feel like those words were made for TOKUSOU.
As expected of you, Missy. Very well said.
Apologies for getting off topic. Alright, let's continue. This type of ritual is more of a magic type of ritual more so than black magic.
What's the basis of it?
I won't go into details because you're being impatient, but traces of monkshood were detected. And just to be sure, I ran a thorough chemical analysis of the blood. The various suspicious ingredients that were detected on the corpses. These items are consistently used in that kind of Bail of ceremony.
Moreover, they are completely useless for medicinal or poisonous purpose. I don't see any other use for them outside of magic rituals.
This is the kind of thing we would expect to hear from the witch. I mean, Shrine Maiden. Respeta!
A good example would be using the blood of a young hen. This is used in famous demon summoning rituals. Have you ever met Elohim enthusiasm?
I think I meant to put, have you ever heard Elohim enthusiasm? Sorry about that.
Oh, I do. This was originally a ritual that had magic spells written in several magic books known as grimoires that were very popular in medieval Europe. Apparently, if you tear apart a black-winged hen that has never laid eggs and chant the same spell, you can summon a demon.
It does match up to some extent with this case.
Is dismemberment and tearing things apart common in magical rituals? Yes, for different reasons. Either to obtain blood, flesh, or organs to find a way to cause pain. That's one of the reasons I concluded with black magic.
Yep, that makes sense.
I thought I said to not get sidetracked. The conversation is derailing again. Oh, my apologies.
It's clear that the culprit is attempting to the use of black magic, some sort of Western ritual magic. However, the essential purpose of what they are trying to accomplish with black magic is still unclear. But there is an explanation somewhere, no matter how unusual it may be. Those clues will lead us into identifying the perpetrator.
Okay, so we've learned about black magic. But I'm curious to know, what's the perpetrator trying to accomplish through black magic rituals? That's an interesting question. Well then, that means that we proceed the investigation under the assumption that magic's real.
This is the only way, otherwise we'll never be able to understand the perpetrator's mind.
Natty, you're so bold. I think I'm falling in love with you. Stop! I'm married! That's ridiculous! There's no such thing as magic or sorcery in this world! So, you're saying it exists in the afterlife then? How shocking! I can't believe Detective NIIMI would believe in something as uncertain as the afterlife.
Even though Professor Kisaragi had admonished him, his insistence on science has left me quite annoyed, and my words came out very sharp. Looks like he didn't expect me to say something like that. He seems to be at a loss for words. Oh, Inspector Cook is smiling! Oh, he looks pretty handsome. Good.
She got you, Shin.
It's normal to see Senna laugh, but I never thought I'd see Inspector Kouketsu crack a smile. I can't leave that. These faces, just so kawaii. It was just a figure of speech. Don't twist my words like that. Perhaps because Inspector Kouketsu also laughed, Detective NIIMI gets all flustered and starts to talk loudly. I don't believe in the afterlife. No, I don't believe in it.
Oh, that's unfortunate to hear.
You're going to investigate under the premise that magic may exist. You fool! We public servants who are funded by the people's hard-earned tax money really think it's okay to waste our time in believing in this nonsense?
With all due respect, Detective NIIMI, I don't think it's a waste of time to investigate without denying every possibility.
That's rhetoric! We shouldn't make assumptions of things that don't exist! Looks like I didn't get my point across.
Shin, you look so adorable when you get heated up like this. I could just eat you up.
Oh goodness, I swear to God, if Kisaragi ever lays her hands on him, she will batter him up. I kid you not, she will literally give him the loving experience by battering him up.
Stop teasing me, Professor Kisaragi! Also, I've told you to stop calling me Shin over and over again! Shin, You're a very smart man, but your knowledge and experience will only be useful when there's an investigation involved with common sense. I don't think that textbook investigative methods alone can solve this unusual case. Oh, he had opened his eyes. I notice it now. Professor Kisaragi scolds Detective NIIMI in a very serious tone. Holy shit. Those words were my exact same thoughts. You're not telling me... No. You're asking me to believe in the occult and paranormal phenomena? It's not a matter of believing it. It's not a matter if you believe it or not, but you'll end up missing out some important clues if you flat out deny it. Excuse me. Oh, don't go! And that face again. Don't go! If I was in that position, even though he's being such a dick, I would just go after him. Seriously! I would. I'm a good girl. I have a kokoro, okay? Leave me be. It seems like Professor Kisaragi's strong words had an effect on Detective NIIMI as he quickly leaves the area with a bright red face, excuse me. Hey, Mitsuko, Marie, please take it easy on the guy. He's trying his best. Oh, but when I see Shin, I can't help but tease him. Don't you agree, Natty? No, wait. I didn't mean to do that. I don't agree with Professor Kisaragi. This wasn't my intention at all. Whatever. We'll continue doing this our way. You do whatever you want. The important thing is to find the culprit and solve the case. With that, Inspector KOUKETSU turns to leave. At the same time, Senna puts his index finger under his right eye, like, I guess doing this? I guess? I'm not sure if that's how it is, and I guess it's a bad thing in Japan. I don't think it's a bad thing over where I live. I don't know. Can someone clarify me why is that a bad thing? I know I sound like an ignorant, but I kind of want to know because I don't know everything about this world. I wasn't born to know everything, okay? So please tell me. Oh, yes, there's one thing I forgot to mention. Inspector KOUKETSU stops dead in his tracks and turns to face us. Huh? What's wrong, kid? Nothing. So, what did you forget to tell us? Inspector KOUKETSU turns to look at me and proceeded to talk. A little while ago, the murder weapon, the saw, it was found downstream of a river near the amusement park. Seriously? No fingerprints were found, but 2 blood samples were found. They match both victims. It seems the DNA analysis for the blood was difficult to process it due to the exposure of the water, but the cross-section of the body and the shape of the blade look consistent. It's believed to be the real murder weapon. Oh dear! I should have worked overtime! Now they identified the murder weapon without me! I wanted to identify that bizarre murder weapon! Oh, I'm so curious! What a weird shrine maiden you are. Inspector KOUKETSU, why did you tell this to us? I agree with what you said earlier. See ya. I'm not sure if he means about solving the case with the direction I mentioned earlier or just simply sharing information because we're detectives. They may not agree on our investigative approach but are willing to share what they learned during the case. Senna, what are you doing? Seriously, isn't he a bit too old to be sticking out his tongue? Oh, he was doing it again! Damn that old man KOUKETSU. Such an arrogant! He doesn't seem grateful for the information he provided to us. Inspector KOUKETSU, we both have a hard time dealing with our partners. I bow towards his direction as a thanks. Something's not right. Professor Kisaragi's expression darkens. She looks more serious than usual. What do you mean? If they threw the murder weapon away, doesn't that mean they no longer need to kill? This is a bad sign. Who knows? Maybe there are more victims that haven't been found yet. But if that was the case, there should have been more unidentified people other than those 2 victims. But Inspector KOUKETSU told us it was only those people. Does that mean they got everything they needed for the ritual? That's right. Considering the purpose of the ritual, they should have cut one last person in half one more time. Professor Kisaragi, can you elaborate more on that? Think about the state of the corpses. What happened to those victims?
The half corpses were left behind. They took the corpses. The first one.
The half corpses were left behind. Correct. Half of it was left behind at the scene and the other was taken away. Oh. Tomomi AMAKUSA's was cut in half. And Ami Masada was cut in half, but from the lower part of the body. Think about it carefully. Isn't there something strange about those other halves that were taken away? Well, it's half and half, so of course. It's not just about that anymore. Think of the corpse that were taken away as parts.
The lower left of the body is missing. The upper right half of the body is missing. Second choice.
The upper right half of the body is missing, right?
It's a strange way of thinking, but as the professor said, if we think of it as a replacement, half of the part is missing. On the other hand, the lower left half is duplicated.
No way. You understand what I'm saying now, don't you? Parts? No way! They're assembling the corpses? That's right. I thought it was a ritual to reanimate the assembled corpses until the murder weapon was discovered. So there's one more victim left.
Since the right half of the body is missing, it cannot take a human shape.
So you're saying they're trying to bring a corpse to life? As I said before, none of the detective ingredients have any other use than for magic rituals. In terms of their contents, they can roughly be divided into 3 types. First, it's summoning a demon. As I said before, hand blood can be used for those things. The other is necromancy, the art of summoning spirits to reside within you. In the early Middle Ages, people would use hallucinogens to induce a kind of state, and strange words were uttered during that state as if interpreting the voices of the dead, and then use that to tell fortunes. It sounds similar to the Itaku from Mount Osori. That's right. If we mention one difference from it, it's those Western seance eventually developed into an art of inhabiting spirits in corpses and controlling them after death. Originally, necromancy was used to refer to any kind of magic involving the dead, but now it's more commonly associated with the art of controlling the corpses. I often see that kind of stuff on mangas.
Is it just me, or is the professor speaking about it due to his experience?
I'm wondering if forcing them to drink the poison would mean a spirit would inhabit the body. And since there's multiple victims, I assume they sewed the bodies together. By the way, you know which hallucinogens I'm talking about, right?
Datura.
It's Datura. Correct. Other things found include herbs used in necromancy and animal body parts. And finally, the resurrection of the dead. Is it different from necromancy? In that case, the soul simply enters the corpse, but it's only temporary. It's not bringing the body back to life. If the dead came back to life, it would be a great business for the monks. Although I doubt the professor's shrine has anything to do with it.
Despite speaking from his own thoughts, Senat seems tense.
Shinto also has funerals, you know? They're called Shinto funerals, and they're ceremonies to keep spirits of the deceased in the house and have it become the guardian deity of the house. If you'd like to know more, you can ask my father, who's offering prayers in the back. That'll have to be some other time. To sum up everything we learned so far, this may be a ritual to either summon a demon, inhabit a corpse with someone's soul, or resurrect a dead person. By using sewed corpses. It's like Dr. Frankenstein's monster. It's all just disguised as science, though. Who the hell are they trying to resurrect, though? The horrifying rituals and its purpose. I can't help but connect it all to Miko's sadness. In fact, Miko must have been the one who wants to bring them back to life, since she was sad about her mother and best friend. I wonder if Senna will be able to accept that. Let's get back to the topic at hand. This is just my theory. However, the murder weapon was found when the upper right half of the body was missing. In other words, the ritual implements are discarded. That suggests that my assessment may be wrong. Or maybe the culprit had a change of heart and gave up on the ritual. I hope so. So positive. I really like that sort of thing. In that case, it's possible that there will be no more victims. What about the monk shoot? We haven't talked much about that. Come to think of it, he's right. Akanite is an essential flower in rituals, as it symbolizes Hecate, the goddess of magic who was worshipped by witches. It's a catalyst, so to speak. Other symbols of Hecate include frogs, Otsuri, and the waning moon, excuse me, good grief. Akanite is a prime example of this. A goddess? I think I heard something about that before. She was originally a goddess in Greek mythology, but was worshipped by witches and later turned into a demon in a heretical cult. It's common for people to accept a god from another religion and then turn that god into an enemy of their own religion. The deity of a heretical cult, the Western demon. Whoa. The worship of witches. As Professor Kisaragi says that, a memory triggers at the back of my mind. What? Itch. The second victim, Ami Masuda. The words she was trying to say at the time were witch. Senna, do you remember about Ami Masuda? When she moved her head and looked at us? Oh yeah, I remember. Didn't it look like she was saying witch at the time? A witch? But the witch right here! In other words, the professor's the culprit. Senna jokingly pointed at Professor Kisaragi. Senna, you are so dead! I won't split you in half! I'll tear you apart 16 pieces! I'm joking! Leaving those two aside. A witch. A female sorceress. If the culprit's practicing black magic, the description fits perfectly. Does that mean witches do exist in the modern age, and they're plotting to revive the idea of death? Professor Kisaragi, if the corpses are said, what else is missing? Well, now they need a living human to be sacrificed as an offering and a place to perform the ritual. The person who is to be sacrificed must be a virgin. Miko's in danger! As soon as he hears Professor Kisaragi say that, Senna shouts out of nowhere. Why would you assume that? Who's that? Senna's girlfriend? No, she's the first victim's daughter, and for the record, Senna doesn't have a girlfriend. He barely even knows how to deal with women. Hey! Senna, I guess I should point this out to you, but Miko may not necessarily be a virgin. High school girls these days. That can't be true. There's no way an innocent-looking girl like Miko would engage in an impure sexual intercourse with a guy. Immortal heterosexual relationships. I feel like a teacher having to explain to a student. Senna, if you have such excessive fantasies about women, you'll end up disappointed. Professor Kisaragi was at one of admonishment, but that smile ruins it all. If you look at her closely, you can tell she's really a witch. If you want, I can give you a step-by-step lecture of real life. Hey! That's none of your business! That's alright. It seems like you already suffer enough hardships from the past. Oh, is that so? That's a relief. But I'm a little disappointed. What do you mean by feeling relieved and disappointed? Anyways, regardless of whether she's a virgin or not, Considering her connection with the victim, she may likely be chosen as a sacrifice, or she's the culprit. Thinking about it, perhaps the quickest way to solve the case is to listen to her testimony in detail again.
Alright then, leave it to me.
Senna takes out his cell phone and makes a call.
Moshi mosh. It's me.
From afar, he looks like a thug making a suspicious call.
Combined with his appearance, it suits him perfectly. Huh? You know who I am! The pride of Chief Prefecture Police Investigation Team! The fastest man in the world! Senna Aizen! What's that? Did I just hear you laughing right now? Alright, I'll cut you some slack. So, what's the situation? Is there anything abnormal? Well, whatever.
Could it be he's talking to that young police officer from that time? When did they exchange phone numbers? As expected from the self-proclaimed fastest man in the world.
Is Miko there? Please, let me speak to her for a moment.
In any case, he should have written down Miko's number when he handed his business card, but that would have been difficult to ask in Senna's case.
Hello, Miko. We'd like to ask you more questions about the case. Would that be okay? Alright. I'll hand the call over to my partner here. Here you go, Natty. Excuse me?
He says that, Senna proceeds to hand me the cell phone.
Miko's on the phone. If you had anything to ask, this will be the quickest way to do it.
Senna's thoughtfulness is appreciated, but wants to ask detailed questions about the case and reveal the brutal aspect of the incident. I'm hesitant to talk it over on the phone. The phone's been handed over to me. Marie from TOKUSOU. Thank you for your cooperation. Oh, hello, Marie. I have no clue what to say. What should I do? We're heading back to your house. We'd like to ask you some more questions. In person. Would that be alright? Of course. I'll be waiting for you. Apologies for the trouble. We'll see you in about an hour. I hang up the call and handed the phone back to Senna.
Hey, I thought you wanted to do this quick.
I think it's best to talk about this in person. It wouldn't be wise to talk about something like this on the phone.
Guess so. Alright, leave the driving to me.
Yes, I would appreciate that, Senna.
Of course.
Good luck to you both. Alright. Always driving safely. Senna was driving at the same speed limit as usual. I thought for sure you would have turned the sirens and rushed out by now.
I'd love to, but it's not an emergency and... I trust the local authorities. They'll protect her till their dying breaths.
The image of that young police officer with a tense look on his face covered in acne comes to mind. You trust that guy?
Well, yeah, he said he'd do his best while on duty, right? That's the kind of guy I consider trustworthy.
His virtue of trusting people seems to be on display in situations like this too. The casual conversation came to a half and silence came in. I could feel the atmosphere in the car become gradually tense. Is it because we're both trying to say something we can't? I tried to hold back, but I couldn't do so any longer, and the words finally came out of my mouth. Hey, Senna. What do you think the culprit looks like?
A witch. A nefarious demon with no regard for human life. Just because you want to bring someone back to life? Killing other people is just not okay. It's not normal.
Agreed. Senna's words spat out just like that. They were not just filled with righteous indignation, but also a strong sense of displeasure. I wonder if this has to do with his own troubled past Professor Kisaragi mentioned before. However, I can understand that feeling. I too have lost important people. But as Senna said, it's unforgivable that a criminal would choose to bring someone back to life at the expense of sacrificing innocent human beings. In any case, the culprit threw away the ritual implement, the murder weapon, so there's not going to be any more victims.
I hope so. I know you're saying that, but to be honest, that's just a wish, not a theory. Personally, I think the best chance would be for the perpetrator to have a change of heart
stop committing crimes and to turn themselves to the police. But do you think someone who commits such a cruel act will have a change of heart?
I don't think so.
That's true.
First of all, the only way that the crimes would have stopped would have been if Professor Kisaragi's theory about the details of the ritual had been correct. I can't imagine that Professor Kisaragi would be wrong, but there's always the unlikely event. All we can do is pray that the interception we'll make at the AMAKUSA residence where we're headed will be successful. Today is our second visit to the AMAKUSA residence. The rain had stopped while we were traveling and the sun has completely set. This is giving me bad vibes.
The sun has set.
It's a full moon. Although there's no substitute for the sun, a beautiful moon had risen in the sky, illuminating the surroundings with a soft light.
Where did that guy go?
Senna mutters as he looks around. He must be talking about the guy from the security department. Just as Senna said, there's no one in the front of the gates. They must have left early because we were coming. No, that can't be the case.
That's the kind of stupid thing the chief of the 1st Investigative Division would do.
Do they not understand the gravity of the situation? Senna grins as he presses the button at the entrance. But as expected, no one responds.
Huh? Is this thing broken?
Thinking about it, there's no way the people from the security division who are professionals in that field would abandon their duties. For a moment I assumed there might have been someone inside the mansion, but all lights are off. Senna, something's wrong. Look at the windows. The lights are off.
You're right. Despite the moon practically glowing, it does feel strange the lights are out at the time of this night.
Hearing himself say that, suddenly he stiffens. Looking at the AMAKUSA resident, it's clear that there's no power outage. Moreover, there are no police officers guarding the house. There's definitely something unusual going on.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Someone's inside. With determination, I slowly put my hand on the door handle of the entrance. The sound of the doorknob is awfully loud, but it's definitely not locked. Slowly, I pull the door open. The front door slits open without resistance, and with a faint creak, the air leaking out from inside the house brushed against my cheek. In that moment, an unpleasant, nauseating smell hits my nose. It's a mix of iron, body odor, and human excrement. Oh my god! I gave Senna a glance and we proceeded inside. Ooh, we can't see anything through the windowless hallway. Still, completely silent. We head towards the faint light leaking from the living room. With each step we take, the unpleasant smell started to grow stronger. I can hear Senna groaning in disgust behind me. He's not the only one. My face also reflexively contorts. Slowly, we approach the source of the light and carefully stretch my neck. In the dimly lit living room, we see objects scatter around, emitting a dull, slimy glow in the moonlight. Blood. Organs! Flesh! I have to censor this, by the way, but yo! They're all split in half! Literally! What had been an ordinary living room was now covered in horrifying dismembered corpses. Not only the walls were covered in blood, but the entire room, drawing strange patterns as if it had been scribbled with a large brush. Many severed hands and feet are lined up haphazardly on the tables and sofas as if they were ornaments. I can't think straight. I started to feel dizzy. An intense feeling of nausea was running through my stomach.
as if someone's grabbing my organs and pulling them out of my mouth. Ew! Suddenly, Senna groans and begins to throw up heavily. He collapses on his knees and hands, splattering steaming vomit everywhere. Good God! Seeing him in such a state snaps me back to my senses. It reminds me of my old self. I flinch at the malice committed by one person at the crime scene. I wasn't able to do anything at the crucial moment. That used to be me. The only thing I gained from that painful experience was the sense of determination which helped push back my crumbling heart and kept me going. But this is another mysterious kind of power beyond human comprehension. When people around us are in a difficult position, we feel the need to step in front of ourselves. Senna's talk helped me revive the courage I had gained back then, as my heart had been crushed by fear. Regardless of the method, I believe I'm able to help in this situation. Although I feel a bit weak, I endure the urge to throw up and gently stroke Senna's back. It seems he's slowly calming down. Should I leave Senna here and go upstairs? Or should I take him outside? He looks too weak and to even do something. We don't know what the culprit could be like. Leaving him behind could be dangerous. However, this could also be a good opportunity for the culprit to destroy the evidence or escape. What should I do? No, let's take Senna outside. I need to get Senna out of here right away. He looks so pale. Oh, Nito. I've never seen him like this before. I'll never fail my partner again. Senna, lend me your shoulder. Senna, who's remained silent, lends me his shoulder and I lead him outside the entrance and he sits on the floor. Good God, that is nasty as Senna, are you alright? Senna remains silent, only shaken. His head from side to side, he can't even move. Senna, I need you to stay here. I'll go and take a look inside the house. I need you to contact the local police and the 1st Investigative Division. The inspector and the others will help us out. It must be humiliating for him to ask for the inspector's help, but despite it all, he nods, knowing the current situation we find ourselves in. I'm counting on you. Leaving that task to Senna, I turn to face the front door. Honestly, I'm terrified. I don't want to be alone, but I have to be alone. My partner's unavailable right now. Even though I already made up my mind, I can feel my legs shaking. I wanted to wait with Senna until reinforcement came. However, this is time of the essence. Only an hour had passed since Senna had left these officers in charge here. It hasn't been that long since the atrocity took place and the perpetrator may still be around. That's why I'm terrified. If I were an ordinary citizen, I would have run away, but I'm a police officer, a detective. Back then, during the blind man incident, I was confused and unfocused from fear and I lost many precious people. But I'm not like that anymore. I feel a bit braver than I was before. Or so I think. I don't think you can ever stop feeling afraid, but you just gotta push it through, pretty much. But I have a new partner I must protect. Aww. Although it was unintentional, it saved my heart when it was about to break. In order to protect Senna and to ensure lives of the victims are avenged, I must act. I'll be back. Leaving Senna behind, I head inside once more to the horrifying scene. Once again, that strong stench of death assaults my nose. How terrible. It doesn't go away, and I can feel the nausea coming back again. But there's no turning back now. I must find out what happened here. There's no doubt. This wasn't done by a normal human. Upon closer inspection, it's clear that the pieces of flesh and organs were wrapped around pieces of cloth, more than half of which were stained in dark red blood.
That shiny thing on the piece of the collar is a police officer badge. A rank insignia. In other words, these corpses are the officers who were asked to guard the area, becoming accustomed to it. Damn. The image of that young man with acne on his face and the youthful smile comes to mind. As if to prove this, there's a human head lying frozen in front of his clothes, with a look of agony plastered on it. It's him. The urge to throw up came back and I put my hand over my mouth, barely managing to hold it in. I really can't believe someone would do this. I don't want to believe it. Looking further in, I see several hands lying around, clutching guns and batons. It seems they did put up a fight until their last breath. Gomenasai. We're the ones who put them through this. As soon as I realized this, the back of my nose felt hot and numbing tears ran through the corners of my eyes. No, don't cry. We can't let their bravery during the line of duty go to waste. As my vision was becoming distorted, I instinctively closed my eyes. Gomenasai, I'll avenge your deaths. I chanted this as if I was praying. Suddenly, I began to hear a faint voice of... Oh, good grief. Suddenly, I began to hear a faint voice of a person. It's not Senna. The voice sounds high-pitched. This is a girl's voice. What are they talking about? No, that's not it. It's more like they're singing. I begin to listen carefully. Shin Hayarigami. There's no doubt about it. It's a girl's voice. It's coming from upstairs. As I try to listen more closely, the voice becomes clearer. This isn't a song. It's a chant. For a spell. I recall everything Professor Kisaragi said about magic rituals. There's no doubt about it. Someone's trying to perform black magic here. Those police officers tried to fight back and were killed trying to prevent this from happening. Just as I suspected, the perpetrator who killed all of these people is still inside this house. I have to stop it, no matter how risky this is. I leave the living room and follow the source of the voice, climbing up the stairs while trying to not make a sound. As I move closer, the chanting began to grow louder. There's no doubt that I'm getting closer to the source of the voice, and the voice began to sound more familiar. When I arrived at the second floor, I approached the room where the source of the voice was coming from and quietly peeked inside. The windows were open, and the moonlight blinded my eyes, which had become accustomed to the pitch-black staircase. Finding it too bright, I half closed my eyes and looked inside. Hekate, Buddha night herb. Hekate, Buddha peace. Oh! Oh. Inside the room, I see a girl dressed in a black robe standing there, speaking an unknown language that was not Japanese. Could it be Miko? Or her older sister Mako? I really can't tell. And beside her are several figures. There's a school uniform. Uniforms worn by AMAKUSA's sister and Ami Masada are neatly arranged to form a human shape. Judging from the neatly arranged socks placed a little distance away from the skirt exactly where the feet would be, this too must be part of the ritual. And then, sandwiching the uniforms between them, there were more human-like beings lined up, lying on their backs just like a river. Both of them appear to be naked bodies of women. Their skin shines in the moonlight and the outlines of their exposed breasts are faintly visible. No, something's off. The figure on the left side of the uniform is misshapen. When I looked closer, the true nature of the discomfort became apparent. The shadow on the left did not have a human shape. The right upper half of the body was completely missing. The brain's about to spill out of the skull. The heart's hanging heavy and protruding, and underneath that looks like a stomach and liver. They were all illuminated by the moonlight, reflected a dull light. I looked more closely. That crushed face. It's only half formed, but that face looks somehow familiar. That must be the first victim, Tomomi AMAKUSA. Eyes and mouth tightly closed, the half-covered face reflecting nothing. Expressionless. From the cut surface near the mouth, the remains of the fish, which had been torn to pieces along with the innards, were spilling out. Unable to bear this crudely, I slightly avert my gaze away. However, in that same direction of my gaze, around their belly button, I see something strange. Looking closely, there were seams in the texture of the skin on the lower half of the body that were clearly different. Compared to the upper left half of Tomomi's body, which was slightly fatter and fabbier, her lower half appears to be leaner with less fat. I can't say for sure, but could the lower half belong to the second victim, Ami Masuda? The photos we got of Ami when she was alive looked like a typical 18-year-old with a slim build. It matched the appearance of the corpse. Unlike Tomomi's completely limp body, the lower half of what seemed to be Ami's body have not been recovered from rigor mortis yet, and the joints in various places were distorted. Rigor mortis has set in, just as it had right so much just before being cut in half. Her right knee is bent to the side, her ankles are curled up, and her toes severed in half, all testifying of the terror and the attack that had befallen on her. They were poisoned and in a daze. Even though they were barely able to think, she must have felt true fear. So cruel. The corpses are strung together in a chant that seems to be black magic. So far, everything is as Professor Kisaragi had predicted, and it's also why the professor was concerned. The next body was the missing upper right half. But that may also explain why the other body lined up next to the stone of the uniform. A body. Yes, it's immediately obvious that it's a body. Even in the moonlight, a large black gaping hole just slightly in front of the center of her chest is clearly visible. The hole in her chest, round as if it had been measured, spread out from the area around her heart. Her left breast seems to be almost entirely missing. However, the corpse's skin, which is obviously dead, is fresher than the rest of the corpses that had been pieced together. Not only is it not earthy, but it also even looks slightly worn. Her expression was soft, and even if it weren't for the hollow space, she would have looked as if she was asleep, which made the strangeness of her appearance stand out even more. I don't know which of the twins is it, but there's no doubt that the crushed body belongs to either Mako or MIKO. Her expressionless face is the same as the young girl currently dressed in black and conducting the ritual. A corpse that appears to be sleeping in the middle of a patchwork body, and this incomprehensible space, there is she, dressed in black, smiling faintly as she chants the spells. It's a strange sight that made me want to look away, but I had to come this far and couldn't retreat. I had to stop this. Taking deep breaths, I slowly reach out towards the holster. I take out the cold, hard, reliable gun. In Japan, police officers rarely draw out their guns. It is even said that even firing a shot as a warning or even a cartridge at a violent criminal does not guarantee any future promotions. Pointing a gun at a young girl is even more unacceptable, but now's not the time to be thinking about such things. The only way to counter this abnormal situation is with a gun. The only people who are in this house are me and her, and she's carrying out the same ritual as Professor Kisaragi mentioned. I doubt a gun will do shit. There's no doubt about it. She's the culprit. The police officers who were torn apart in the living room must have been her doing. I don't understand how an 18-year-old girl could have done such a thing. If this was Senna, he would have been frightened and say something like, "This is the devil's doing." I imagine him shrinking back in fear. Strangely, my mind-fading spirits began to perk up and I felt my fears faded. I'll stop this, no matter what! That's what I told myself. I ran into the room and shouted as loud as I could. Police! Stay where you are! At the same time, I removed the safety from the gun and pointed at her. Oh!
detective. You came here all by yourself?
The girl in the black hood glances over at me with a faint smile on her face. As she says those words nonchalantly. She doesn't seem shaken at all despite the fact that I'm pointing a gun at her. That means she's not afraid of weapons at all.
Could you please not interrupt? I'll be done soon. I won't fail again. Not this time.
Will not fail again? Has she done this before? This gruesome and horrific ritual? Are you MIKO? Or am I meeting Mako for the first time? I'll say it again. Stop this! Right now! Hiding my inner fears, I try my best to stay calm.
What are you saying? There's no way I'm quitting after I've gone this far.
She laughs at me mockingly and continues to read the spell.
Hekatipis.
Stop it!
Yattahaikisin.
She ignores me. Instead, she continues with the chant. This can't keep going like this. I can't let the ritual continue. I don't intend to believe in the occult, but something tells me this will end up badly. If weapons nor physical force won't do anything, the only option is to get the perpetrator's mind. Their spirit. There's no guarantee it might work, but I have no other choice but to try. I try to calm myself down. No matter who I'm dealing with, I have to do this. First, I'll need to get her attention, even if it stops the ritual temporarily. Tell me something. Why you leave those half-corpses at the murder scenes?
Hekate Budapest.
She shows no signs of remorse. Then... Liar's art! Hold on, let me save real quick. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. Also, the music in this is so... I wish they would have put creepy music on top of the layer arts, like a boss fight. Okay, to share it with your sister because you're so cold-hearted, you just simply throw them away. The first one. But yeah, before I even... Okay, I changed the cameras. Alright. To share it with your sister? I don't know if she's sharing with her sister or not, but I decided to make a quick comment related to that.
After the ceremony's over, there will be no more sharing, for we won't be together.
She stopped us chanting and turns to face me. However, I couldn't understand what she meant by that. Okay, we got the first one right.
Well, since you come this far, you'll never interrupt the ritual either way, but we can chat anyways.
And for the time being, it seems I have succeeded in getting her attention. This is where the real deal begins. I need to get to her heart, extract confessions and guilt from her, and stop this ritual. The purpose. Okay then, bear with me. Why you leave the other halves of the corpses at the crime scene like that?
What do you mean?
The bodies were covered up with a thin layer of soil to make them appear as if they were alive.
Ah, those. What do you think?
She doesn't care at all. She's just smiling and being carefree. How should I answer this? To make it into a plaything, is there a point to this? Because it's part of the ritual. This one. Because it's part of a ritual, right? A ritual to revive the dead? I'm just repeating what Professor Kisaragi said, but I don't think that's the case.
Wow! You seem well informed. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
Wrong?
Once the ritual's over, we'll no longer have to split things. That part is unnecessary, but they were very important people to me. I would have felt shame if I left them like that. So, I decided to display the remaining parts in a way that would make them look like they were in their original, beautiful selves.
They're not part of the ritual? She just left them like this because it was convenient for her? I'm starting to feel dizzy. Oh my god.
Anyways, I still have her attention. She's completely stopped the chanting and her attention is towards me. Now's a chance to come up with something.
Why you killed them while they were still alive? How could you do something this cruel?
I don't intend to appeal her conscience. It won't work. But this is an important step. It's to get her to confess the crimes. She's already hinted at her involvement but has never outright said she had killed anyone.
I didn't care either way. Didn't matter if they were alive or dead. All I needed was to cut up the body and take it home.
Damn. As expected, she has zero remorse. This confirms she is indeed the culprit. But at the same time, people can change their minds and they're susceptible to persuasion. She's a fanatic. Just as Professor Kisaragi predicted, she's someone who can't ignore everything before fate and ritual. The only way to stop a fanatic is to destroy their belief. It's challenging, but this is the purpose of Liar's Art, and I'll try my best. First, I must make her believe what I said. Then I toy with her belief, and finally shatter it.
Is the corpse with a hole on their chest Mako or Miko? Will this revive the corpse?
You finally understand! That's right! Are you also familiar with black magic, Detective?
She's taken the bait. If I could confuse her on purpose to sway away from the ritual, then this might just work. What else should I say to achieve that? You're wrong, yes, that's right. This ritual will fail!
This ritual will fail!
I said this confidently, but of course I have no proof of that. But for her, this will probably be the hardest thing to bear. For a fanatic, the failure of ritual is something they want to avoid more than anything else. As expected, her expression disappears. There's even a hint of anger oozing out. She's taken the bait perfectly. I keep a straight face. I act confident and make sure she trusts me.
And what makes you think that's the case?
Because...
Okay. I heard it from a shrine maiden, I heard it from a witch, a real witch, I heard it from a scholar. I heard it from a witch! A witch!
I heard it from a witch. A real witch. She loves blood and sorcery. About the ritual of resurrection.
She doesn't say anything, but her eyebrows move slightly. It's an undeniable fact that a witch might have said that, but thanks to that bluff, it seems like it worked. Or so I thought.
Who's that witch? Is she even real?
Oh, she's definitely real.
Of course she is. Otherwise, there's no way I, a police officer, would have trusted her so easily.
As I continued to pile up more lies, Detective NIIMI's face came to mind.
The police don't believe in the occult. But this witch knows about the occult.
She remains silent and looks at me as if evaluating me, to know if she can trust me or not. But I can't let her think. Because the more she thinks, chances are she'll see through my lies. I think she might have seen this anyway.
From what I heard from the witch, this ritual is bound to fail.
Her face just now. Her confidence has been shaken. Only one thing remains. Oh, I didn't.
I'll go through with it anyway.
Letting out an exasperation of air, she turns away from me and begins to chant the spell. What we're witnessing here is an escape behavior in psychology. In other words, this was effective. Just one final push. There's something missing in this ritual. Why won't you tell me? Why don't you give up? Why won't you tell me?
Why are you silent? Can't you give me a reason? Why are you making this ritual so important to you? Is it because you don't want to fail again?
I try to provoke her this time. Come on, take the bait!
What's wrong?
She took the bait. This is my last chance. There's something missing in this ritual. And that is... Oh my. The waning moon, moonlight, Maiden's blood. The waning moon.
The waning moon. Today is a beautiful full moon. It's the waning moon that Hecate resides in.
Professor Kisaragi did indeed say that the waning moon is a symbol of Hecate. Uh-oh. I honestly don't know if the ritual will fail, but for now, this is the only thing I can bet on.
So your plan will never work. Give it up now!
I spoke to her as if admonishing her. If this doesn't work, then there's nothing else I could come up with, other than keep on lying and covering it with plastered lies. She begins to mutter. Uh-oh. She lets out a scream and my body's flown away. Oh my sh**. I knew this wouldn't work. I suddenly felt a tremendous shock run through my back, and my vision becomes distorted.
Stop it!
In my hazy consciousness, refusing to give up, I keep calling out to her.
Stop it!
I have to stop it. I absolutely will.
See? It was a lie after all. Now we can finally become one.
What? This isn't good. Oh no.
This is Chief Prefectural Police Tokusou! Don't move!
Senna?
Miko? This is... Close call. Oh! Natty! Hey, Natty! Oh, don't die on me! Don't do this!
Shut up.
I'm not dead.
Don't scare me like that!
He sounds like he's crying. Aw, was he worried about me? His kindness has really warmed my heart. Oh.
If you're not dead, wake up then!
Suddenly, he grabs my shoulder and shakes me violently.
Wait a second. What are you doing?
As my consciousness snaps back to reality, I realize this is the AMAKUSA resident home, the second floor. The scene before me flashes through my bleary-eyed mind and all the memories came flooding back to me.
Senna! What time is it now? No, what day is it? My back hurts.
As I grabbed Senna, I felt a sharp pain on my back.
It hasn't been that long. It's been only 15 minutes since you left me outside.
Only a few minutes have passed since I was knocked out.
Looks like the support has finally arrived.
Saying that, Senna turns to look at the window. The shrill yet now reliable sound of a siren approaching.
Why did you come here without support?
Says the woman who ran in head first. You scared me.
1 second. See if it opens up. Sorry about the noise, I'm just trying to... Okay, there we go. Got the docu open. I guess he really was worried about me.
Arigato, Senna.
Only just returned the favor. Her partner's right.
Senna slightly raises a corner of his mouth, even though he seems hesitant to do so given the place we're at. Taking a look around the scene of the crime, I see a mysterious black mask and a girl in uniform sitting down. Oh, unlike before, she had taken her black robe off and was now wearing her school uniform. In the end, I couldn't tell if she was Miko or Mako.
She's been laughing like this ever since I walked in. Is she the culprit?
Yes. I don't know if she's Miko or Mako though, but they've confessed everything.
I see.
Without any regard for Senna's feelings, she keeps smiling with vacant eyes. Suddenly, I notice something strange about the scenery. I have a strange feeling that something's not right. Maybe it's because my head hasn't been clear yet, or am I just blind? Just then the sirens, which had gotten much louder, stopped and we heard a clamor of voices, followed by loud footsteps running up the stairs.
Marie! Kid! Are you alright?
Both Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI showed up.
I'm fine. Nancy is.
I'm managing. The suspect. She pushed me and I lost consciousness for a while.
There's no way I'm going to tell them that I have been blown away by a girl in a black robe whose head did a 180 without even me touching her. My back hurts, but when I think about the unfortunate police officers who were killed in the living room, I feel incredibly lucky to be alive.
I see. Considering the way all those police officers providing security were killed, I guess you should be considering being lucky enough to only be pushed. Miko Amakusa, you are under arrest for the murders of Tomomi Amakusa and Ami Masada, as well as for the mutilation and abandoning the corpses. You'll also need to provide a separate explanation regarding the corpses of the security police officers. As Inspector KOUKETSU checks for our well-being, Detective NIIMI crouches down and presents the warrant arrest to the uniformed girl. It's only been a few minutes since Senna contacted for backup. No matter how I look at it, it's too early for an arrest warrant. They must have figured out Miko was the culprit a while ago and have been preparing for this moment. But one question remains. Is that really Miko sitting there?
Wait! Sure, this girl indeed confessed her crimes to me, but we don't know which sister is it. Why would you assume it's Miko?
That's right. Don't just assume that Miko's the culprit. It could be her sister Mako. Senna says the same thing as me, but Detective NIIMI remains completely unfazed.
Just look at the body over there.
Oh! Detective NIIMI... Oh wait, it's on my way. Detective NIIMI points to the black mass.
Is that a corpse?
Looking closely, the black thing that was the black robe she had worn when she performed the ritual, though, is now worn away. Oh! Is it possible that the ritual did work? And this corpse is Miko, obviously, and the new girl is someone we don't even know? It could be the two sisters together, because that's the intention. They wanted to become one. I wouldn't even know. Also, I got so distracted I didn't change the camera on the other side. There we go. But damn. Under the hoodie, a dried up mummified face can be seen. The face certainly resembles that of AMAKUSA's sisters. In that moment, the true nature of discomfort I had felt earlier came clear into mind. This room was completely different before I fainted. There was no mummy here. Piecing it together, I noticed the other halves of Tomomi Amakusa and Ami Masada had disappeared. Also, the corpse that happened to be one of the Amakusa sisters with the gaping hole on the chest is gone.
That mummified corpse is Mako Amakusa.
Ignoring my confusion, Detective NIIMI continues calmly.
What? We investigated into the surrounding homes and school. We uncovered a number of strange testimonies. Apparently Mako Amakusa had been absent from school for a while now. No one in the neighborhood had seen them together. Apparently it's been a week since they haven't been together. It's likely that Miko had killed Mako and used her appearance to make her look like she was still alive. Well, a week isn't enough time for mummification, but that's something that can be managed with scientific knowledge.
That's stupid! I saw one of the twins about to perform the ritual and the other sister had a hole in her chest. I don't know which sister is which, but I remember there was no mummified corpse. I know that one of them had that black robe on.
Wait, something's not right. I didn't see any mummified corpse when I came here by myself. There were other corpses, completely naked. It hasn't even been 10 minutes since I passed out. Are you telling me that in the short time they took the corpses away, dressed up a mummified corpse and Miko changed into her school uniform?
You may be misremembering or something. Or maybe you had a dream while you passed out.
That's not...
You must have a lot of fantasies about the occult and the supernatural. Oh, f*** you!
Detective NIIMI keeps interrupting me with an obvious sneer.
But
I would like to argue, but there are too many aspects of the situation at the scene that do not match my memory.
Shinto, cut her some slack. Can't you see she's injured? Anyways, let's get our suspect out of here quickly. Right. Wait a minute, dude. I'm still not convinced. Even if Miko's the culprit, what was her motive for all of this? We'll look into that later. We can't always understand the mind of a serial killer.
Detective NIIMI seems to be convinced that this crime was committed by a serial killer.
We might have arrested the suspect, but things will get complicated from here on out. We've confirmed 4 civilian casualties, but there may be more to come.
Huh? Tomomi AMAKUSA, Mami Masuda, Mako AMAKUSA, so who's the last one?
there's someone else?
Yamakusa's sister's father was thought to be dead 10 years ago, but after re-examining his body, many suspicious points were found. Like the recent victims, the body was also split in half and the cause of death was also blood loss. At the time, it was handled as an accident, but there were many similarities with the current case.
That's stupid! Wait, hold on, I'm confused. Did Dad die 10 years ago? Or did he die recently? Because if it's 10 years ago, that is gonna be the most dumbest shit I could ever heard. Because that would mean that the sisters were 8 years old? Do you think a f***ing 8-year-old would kill someone like that? That is so dumb! Okay, where did I left off?
In half.
That's right. We suspect that he was the first victim.
You guys are f***ing dumb.
If the father was the first victim, I don't think 10 years leading up to this incident were a blank period.
That's really stupid.
But still...
There's a dry metallic clang as the handcuffs is placed on Miko's hands. After handcuffing her, Detective NIIMI lets out a smile. Either because he solved the case or because he's being a show-off, or maybe both. Oh my god, look at that face! He's like...
I won! But at what cost?
Oh, good grief. Now, stand up.
At his command, Miko slowly stands up.
Come on.
Still laughing, Miko proceeds to follow them into their car, at the mercy of Detective NIIMI and Inspector KOUKETSU.
That's it? It's over? Damn it, what the hell's going on?
Senna lets out a bitter shout. I myself can't still process what on earth happened to me. Maybe Detective NIIMI's right. This must have been a dream. No, it couldn't be. The intense feeling on my back proves it wrong. There's no doubt I was slammed into the wall. According to Inspector KOUKETSU, Mako had been absent from school a week prior to the incident, and based on what they concluded, she was already dead. I can't imagine that they would neglect to check the facts, so this is probably true. If that's the case, then this girl sitting here with vacant eyes must have been Miko. But then... Alright, we're doing detective logic, so yeah. Okay. Miko AMAKUSA. What was her relationship with Mako AMAKUSA? Well, they were obviously... She was trying to resurrect her sister. Okay. Let's do this. This is the rest to fill the blanks. Okay. Miko AMAKUSA herself. Taco conversion witch serial killer. Witch. Connection to Ami Masuda. Daughter twins close friend. Tomomi AMAKUSA. At least this one doesn't have a lot of shit to do. Like last time. With the first lady in the trench coat case, because we had to fill not just the people of the crime, but also ourselves. Anyways, Tomomi AMAKUSA, she is her daughter. I am your daughter, and I'll murder you. Okay, Ami Masuda was twisted and bent. I hope that I'm doing the right thing. Tomomi AMAKUSA, completely exhausted. AMAKUSA. She's the mummy. Okay, let me move. Okay, that's about it. I hope I did the right choice. Okay. That's real quick. Miko was trying to bring Mako back to life. But Mako's now a mummified corpse, but if I remember clearly, the corpse was made up of several sewn body parts. Professor Kisaragi mentioned that there's a story about resurrecting the dead through magic. If you think about it that way, regardless of whether it worked or not, it's entirely possible that Miko tried to bring Mako back to life. Let's think about this more briefly. You passed the test, baby. Okay. First, Mako died for some reason. Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI believe Miko committed the murder, but there's currently no evidence to support it. Whether she was murdered or killed accidentally, Mako's death. If that's the case, Miko, who's obsessed with just being like her sister, had no other choice but to give up. Or she could have killed herself to bring Mako back to life. Normally, if someone important to them passed away, one would think that would follow after them, but Miko's different. It's not known whether she's already knew about the ritual to resurrect the dead or whether she researched it after her sister's death, but she later chose to perform the ritual and bring her back to life. Considering her abnormal behavior, it wouldn't be surprising if she had gone so far as to kill someone to perform a ritual to resurrect their dead. But it must have been extremely difficult. Not difficult as her sister's, but killing her precious mother and best friend, cutting up the flesh she needed. However, even after all this, Mako's body did not come back to life. It's unclear why it's mummified. Upon witnessing this scene, Miko must have gone insane. If you think about it that way, it makes sense why she had a hollow look on her face and a faint smile. Her body was completely relaxed, and she just let herself be held still, not moving at all. With that little rationality remain, she must have been able to put the clothes on Mako's mummified corpse. Was the ritual a failure because it was out of control, or was the ritual itself a sham from the start? But is that really the case? Just before I lost my consciousness, she had said, "Now we can finally become one." What did she meant by that? This was not a dream. Or was it really a dream, as Detective NIIMI said? Either way, the girl who confessed to me everything lost her mind and was arrested. The case closed, but the mystery remains. But what's this weight I feel on my chest? In the end, after Miko had been arrested, she continued laughing. Unable to handle the case, the First Investigative Division suspended her questioning and put her in custody. Apparently, a psychiatric expert will be called in tomorrow to conduct an interrogation. We, TOKUSOU, had been completely shut out. The chief's authority doesn't seem to have much effect in the face of the suspect that's just been secured. It's frustrating, but the First Investigative Division, who carefully prepared and requested an arrest warrant, won. Feeling unsettled, I collapsed onto the bed. There was a puff sound and a small cloud of dust. Excuse me? Dust? You better clean your room. What's your bag? I got. At that moment, a shrill beeping sound rang out. Ah, the timing. It's the chief, no doubt about it. Looking at the screen, the call was set to anonymous, so it's the chief after all. I'll submit the report tomorrow. I feel bad for the chief, but I don't feel like answering the call. I force myself to hang the call and say things that say things that no one will understand. Time to sleep. I close my eyes, but I don't feel tired. The events of the past few days comes to mind, and one after the other, then disappear. I don't think I'll be able to sleep tonight. Case solved. Or rather, day has passed since it was resolved. The feeling of being unable to complete the task makes it difficult to report. Within the G Prefectural Police, the case is considered solved. However, the mystery remains. I thought about it all night last night, but I just couldn't come up with an answer. The missing patchwork body and the brutal murder of the police officers in the living room, that's not something an 18-year-old could do. It would make sense if a brown bear had become violently attacked because they consumed a strange liquid. Cocaine bear. Suddenly, I remember the guy with the acne on his face who smiled brightly at Senna. I feel bad for him. The expression on Senna's face when I mentioned the young police officer is indescribable. He expressed neither sadness nor despair, but anger and remained silent.
In conclusion,
he seems to be deliberately ignoring me as he keeps typing at his computer without responding to me. He looks like he could barely type, adding each word with his index finger.
I'm still wondering what the point of this incident was.
Senna stopped typing and muttered.
Wakaranai. I've been thinking about it, all sorts of possibilities since last night, but all I can come up with is just unrealistic scenarios like a horror movie.
Hey Natty, do you ever wonder if things you think don't exist actually exist?
Sometimes. Though I would prefer things like that didn't actually exist.
I have no intentions of rejecting the occult, but dealing with it is very existent. It's difficult. MIKO blew me into a wall without me even touching her, even when I tried to stop the ritual. And she ripped those police officers like they were made of clay. If that power was obtained by the devil, then there's nothing we can do about it.
Not sure if I can explain this well, but I don't care what's real or not anymore. Something beyond our understanding has crossed our world ages ago. And they're lurking somewhere, I can't help but feel that way.
Senna's face expresses an emotion I had never seen in him before.
I think you're onto something. Your face says it all.
There was someone once in my life who used to take care of me when I was a delinquent. He inspired me to become a cop. No matter how many times I think about it, he was also caught up in a strange incident that just didn't make sense, and he died in the line of duty.
Is that the one you call old man?
Senna doesn't respond, but the silence is his answer. I want to ask what happened, but the silence proves that it's too early to talk about it. I've been there myself. Whenever I think about what happened in Sea Village, as prefecture, my heart still aches. So I understand Senna's feelings.
I won't let this happen again. I don't care if I have to fight the devil himself. I'll do whatever it takes to solve the case.
Senna spoke quietly but firmly. I don't know if those words were a statement of resolve regarding the incident that took away his mentor or about this current incident. Perhaps both. However, there's one thing I learned from Senna, is that he has an intense hatred towards the supernatural phenomena. And the same goes for those who don't believe in this and overlook the truth. This is why he's always arguing with Detective NIIMI and the other members of the 1st Investigative Division.
Not just you, but us, right?
That's right.
I wonder what this moment meant here.
For my mentor and the young police officer.
Right.
The young police officer Senna got involved with lost his life. A new determination inside me gave me a slight chill. Are you two in there? I found something interesting. Ignoring the tense atmosphere, the cheerful voice of Professor Kisaragi knocks on the door. Oh, there you are.
Please don't barge in without permission.
Oh, apologies. I just had to let you know quick. I found something interesting about the case.
Well, what's got you so happy?
Just as Senna said, Professor Kisaragi is weirdly so happy. Just as if she's so careless as she investigated a scene of a crime. Shin didn't believe me at all, but I thought you two would be interested. As usual, Professor Kisaragi had a smile on her face.
I'm guessing it's something mysterious that has something to do with the occult?
That's right! As expected of you, Nettie, you catch on quick. What could be more bizarre than this? Well, the mummified corpse examination has been completed. The mummified corpse doesn't belong to Mako. It belongs to MIKO! Huh? Huh? No way! Yes way! I was shocked too. Not only did I do the standard test, but I even checked everything twice. Professor Kisaragi, did you find anything on the mummified corpse's chest? Was there a big hole in it? A hole? No, there wasn't any of that. Her beautiful young skin was just all wrinkled up. It was depressing to see. That means the naked corpse I saw was not the mummified one. Whoa there, Professor. I have a lot to say, so please be patient. I still have a lot more to share. But wait, there's more? There's more? Is there anything else that will leave us astonished at this point? The autopsy performed on the mummy revealed that the estimated time of death was last night. Oh, so this is kind of what I was expecting. So when we fainted, the ritual must have worked. The corpses were already sewn together. So that means that MIKO must have sacrificed herself, or maybe it was part of the ritual anyways. But the point is that MIKO died, and then the souls of her and her sister probably were placed together in that new sewn body that came to life as the new supposed girl, which I guess it's both of them in a sense. That's what the ritual is about, that they were saying that they can become one. They wanted to be together in one body, which is kind of weird. Like, why would you want to share your body like that? It's like, I don't know. It's so stupid that they wanted to share a body. Also, I'm pretty sure this is all gonna be for nothing, because given the fact of the crime, I'm pretty sure she's gonna be put on death penalty. Like, so this was all for nothing. Anyway, let's continue. Huh? Judging by the stomach contents, that's definitely the case. And lack of tissue decay suggests that mummification happened really quick. I'm starting to feel dizzy. Putting all these results together, MIKO was definitely alive until last night. And what's more, she was killed in an instant. Yeah, it was like capiche. Professor Kisaragi says this so excitedly and nonchalantly, but me and Senna don't feel the same way. That's ridiculous. That's true. Then who's the person being held at the detention center? Ooh. Oh boy. At last we become one. Oh my, see, that's the case.
We're together now, big sister. Yes, that's right, MIKO. There's no need to share anything anymore. Together. Forever.
Yo! I knew it. I figured that was the case. Alright, wow. We finished the Half Case Chapter 2. I am going to be doing the same thing as last time, where there will be a separate explanation for the other path, and then there will also be some extra cutscenes that we're gonna watch. This video is gonna be probably 2 hours long, so anyways, yeah, we'll do that, and yeah, let's get to it. Hey everyone, this is Next Day Kirby. First of all, thank you guys so much if you are still continuing to watch this long episode. I really appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
But yeah, we are going to be explaining the occult path of Shin Hayarigami's 2, Chapter 2, Half Case, and I've just finished replaying that path again. It took me another 2 hours, because I didn't basically remember a lot about that particular path, and I just needed to refresh it in my mind. And now that I've got everything, you know, done,
I'm just gonna basically explain to you what exactly happens on the occult path. I don't think it's gonna be as long as the explanation of the lady in the trench coat. We'll see. But anyways, without further ado, let's just get into it. So in the occult path, our main character is still a bit sus of Miko AMAKUSA, and she decides she wants to investigate the entire house. But obviously Senna doesn't want that, because he, much like in the scientific path, he believes that Miko is innocent. But we don't get to discuss that much, unfortunately, because out of nowhere we hear police sirens coming close to the AMAKUSA house, and then it turns out that Inspector KOUKETSU, Detective NIIMI, and for some reason Chief Tanaka, they all came to the house to arrest Miko AMAKUSA as a suspect. And the reason for that is because apparently there were some witnesses who saw Miko AMAKUSA around in a suspicious outfit, like a black hood type outfit, like the one that was worn in the scientific path. And so they believe that Mako is also a suspect, that both sisters are in on it. And so, they don't even hesitate. They decide to arrest her right there. And the moment Detective NIIMI grabs Miko's hand to arrest her, she starts yelling and panicking that she doesn't want to get arrested. And then Senna gets in the way to try to defend her. And in that moment, Detective NIIMI literally slaps the shit out of Senna, like slaps him in the face. And then telling him basically to off and to not get in the way. And Senna's like in shock, and literally Detective NIIMI tells us straight to his face about letting his own personal feelings get in the way, and that's why they're not doing such a good job in the investigation. And Senna was just like in shock. He couldn't believe it. Not only he got hit by his enemy, but he got insulted and everything, a little bit of everything. And so but our main character, discovering about what the witnesses said about seeing Mako around, she believes that Mako is really the culprit and Miko is innocent. And she asks Inspector KOUKETSU to do a liar's art, which he gives us the chance. But unfortunately, the only thing we were able to get out is that she is involved in some way, like hinting it, but that's pretty much it. Inspector KOUKETSU is impressed with our liar's art, however, but without getting too much out of her, they decide to still take her away. And Senna is a bit sad because they couldn't do much about it, but then our character snaps him back and tries to get him to focus on the case, and they basically start to try to find a way to prove Miko's innocence. Although our main character still is a bit sus of Miko, she wants to do it that way to make Senna feel better in a sense. So they begin to investigate a bit further, and they discover some things, like for example, Miko AMAKUSA had a bad behavior, and apparently the mother was afraid of her own daughters. And then we discovered the whole dad thing, which, by the way, I know in the other episode it was like, there's no way an 8-year-old would be able to kill the dad, but apparently I guess that's the case, because during one of the reports that is read, the dad died because a giant glass had fell off a building and then it split him in half. And before the dad's death, apparently the sisters were saying something about getting a half of the dad and then getting the other half of the dad, which is so creepy. But yeah, that was kind of the case. So basically both of the sisters are evil. After that, they continue to try to find about Mako's whereabouts, and they discover that there may be another possible victim. And they begin to try to look for the closest people, and they search a list of students from the school that Miko and Mako went to, and they call every single student until they discover that there's one who could be possibly close to particularly Miko, and that is a girl who turns out to be Miko AMAKUSA's girlfriend, which shocks Senna, who had a crush on her. And it turns out that Miko had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend was going to be the new target. So they try to call her, but unfortunately they can't get through the call, so they decide to go visit her home. And when they do that, they land near a bridge called Sea Bridge, I think it was called, where there's an urban legend. I didn't pay too much attention to that, honestly. But basically they hear the girl screaming, and so they decide to go after her, and they were able to manage to save the girl in time, and then realized that the girl who was standing there in a hoodie was MIKO AMAKUSA, but they only showed one half side of her for some reason, which is like, that seems a bit sussy. And so, without hesitation, just like in the scientific path, our main girl tells Senna to stay with the girl this time, while she goes and pursues MIKO AMAKUSA. And during the case, MIKO, we noticed that something was odd with MIKO, with the way she was moving her body and running, and it felt a little weird, like it wasn't proper movements, but she was still running as fast as she could, and that was a bit odd to our character. But before anything, we managed to get to the bridge, and then MIKO just climbs on top of the bridge, and basically there's like a giant waterfall. Basically where she was gonna fall, she wasn't gonna survive, and so basically in the end, MIKO jumps off the bridge, jumps into the water, and apparently is killed. And so our main character comes back and with Senna and the other girl, and she tells them the unfortunate news that she couldn't catch the culprit, but that the culprit had killed herself in the bridge. And so, they felt a bit relieved, but also a bit sad that the case had to end that way. In that moment, also, our main character had asked a bunch of people to check the waters in S Bridge to see if they could find the corpse of MIKO AMAKUSA. And on their way back to the station, that's when then we we're thinking of how we were going to tell Miko the news about MIKO AMAKUSA being dead. But that's when Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI come, and Detective NIIMI says that they had canceled the call that they did about searching the S Bridge water area, whatever, because it was unnecessary. And so they say that the culprit was actually MIKO AMAKUSA, that Miko did actually confess everything, that she confessed killing her mother and her sister, her best friend, not sister, her best friend Ami, all because she wanted to revive her sister back, in that sense. And they were confused, like they had no idea what, and so that's when then our main girl explains to them about what had just happened, about, they hide the fact that Miko had a girlfriend and told that it was a boyfriend. They said that the boyfriend was attacked by what appeared to be MIKO, but that's when then Inspector KOUKETSU says that it was a waste of time to listen to us. And that's when they explained to us that apparently they had found the other half corpse of MIKO AMAKUSA. And we were confused, like, what the hell is going on? And they started to explain that not only her corpse was split in half, but that also there was a hole in her chest, just like what it was mentioned in the scientific route. And so apparently they said that the true cause of death was the hole on the chest, whatever was stabbed in the chest or something. And so they believe that Miko killed MIKO, and that there's no way that MIKO AMAKUSA was alive. And then they were NIIMI as usual teasing us, saying that we saw a ghost or something. Whoa! And so, anyways, after that, we once again ask Inspector KOUKETSU to give us one more chance to question MIKO AMAKUSA and to confirm the facts. And so he decides to give us that one more chance, but with 3 conditions. One of the conditions was that the interview was going to be 10 minutes. The second one was to at least get the answer of where the remaining corpses were. And the third one was that we had to do the questioning ourselves without Senna. Because unfortunately, due to Senna letting his interpersonal feelings get in the way, Inspector KOUKETSU and Detective NIIMI no longer trust him for those type of tasks, and so they would not allow him to see MIKO AMAKUSA at all. So Senna was pissed off, but we convinced him to let us do it ourselves, and then he was like trying to tell us to avenge Miko, to try to prove her innocence, but obviously she was never innocent, and you'll see. So we go through the questioning. and we talk to Miko, and we basically get the same confirmations as what happened with the scientific route, where Miko confesses that she killed her mother and her best friend, and that she sewed the bodies together with the other half of AMAKUSA's, and so to try to bring her sister back to life. That's kind of basically what we get, but there's also another extra answer that we don't get in the scientific path, where she tells her that her sister originally had died because the devil had killed her, which we'll see in the extras. So the devil had killed her, and that's why she did all of this, to try to bring her sister back to life. And then in the end, our main character tries to ask Miko about what she had done with the other corpses, which we already knew they were sewn together, but she just says that she doesn't know, that she just gives them a vague answer and they lose all hope and the mystery is never solved. But then she does ask one last thing, which is obviously saying that if they've seen Mako around. Our main character told her yes, and she tells her where she saw her, and she's like, oh, thank God, like, she's still around. She always, like, I don't know if that part was like her saying that her spirit shows up there, or if it's like her sister actually came back to life or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's what happens. And then at the end, we get a little extra scene where we see those people who were about to check the waters, and then they get the call from the 1st Investigative Division to saying to cancel the search, that it was unnecessary and whatever, and the police are pissed off because they wasted their time. And as soon as they leave, then we hear some weird noises in the water, and then out of the water emerges AMAKUSA, and they show the split half face closer again. Except that the one face is the face of Mako, and the other half of the face is the mother, Tomomi. And yeah, that's how it kind of all ends in that part of the Shin Hayarigami 2. And as you can probably surmise, the ending for the occult path indicates that it's the wrong choice of the story. So the scientific path we did is the true story of that one. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the occult path of Shin Hayarigami's 2. We're gonna go now with these extra scenes that we're gonna see. I think there are 3 extra scenes. One is with MASAOMI KOUKETSU, and the other 2 are with MIKO AMAKUSA. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this part of the section, and let's get to the extras. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm sure you've probably finished watching the occult path explanation right about now that I did the next day, literally. Anyways, we are here now with the extra episodes. We got 3 extra episodes, like I mentioned, and so we're gonna start with the first one, which is with MASAOMI KOUKETSU. Let's see what gets to happen outside of our protagonist's eyes, so let's get to it.
Shin has a new competitor now, TOKUSOU. TOKUSOU is a new department that's been established, but its existence is not even known within the police. Officially, such an organization does not exist. Still, the only reason we are aware of its existence was because Aizen, one of the members of TOKUSOU, mentioned it. Every time Aizen mentions about this special team, Marie, who's his partner, looks like she has a headache for some reason, as if this is troublesome for her. Well, there is no need to go into this now. Our jobs as detectives are to arrest criminals, not to compete among ourselves over who is the best. Shin is aware of this though, because of the opponents he's competing against. He can't help himself. Shin does have some commonalities with Aizen from TOKUSOU. First of all, Aizen and Shin have been on bad terms ever since he came to the G Prefectural Police Headquarters. They are of different classes and origins. One is a former career man who graduated from college, and the other is a former member of a motorcycle gang. Although the two seem to be complete opposites at first glance, they both share the common sense of a mission to solve crimes. Well, it was recent that Aizen was finally free from serving tea and investigate the incident of the lady in the trench coat. It seems he still has some enthusiasm. Shin's desire to compete against Aizen may be fueled by some sort of self-hatred. Even if I say it, Shin won't admit it. Marie had just arrived, but during her previous engagement with the lady in the trench coat, she declared war on without regard for rank. Although Marie is a higher rank, Chief Sergeant to be specific, she's not in a position to say anything to Shin, who is a police inspector. That probably created a bad first impression, at least in my mind. Having said that, Shin is also at fault for making such mocking remarks about Aizen, so I have no intention of sympathizing with him. Ooh. There are still many things I don't know about Marie, but I can commend her for not forgetting her duties as a detective. However, I feel like Aizen's determination is stronger than hers. It seems he's struggling with that past incident.
Oh, there we go!
Masaomi! Let's hurry up! We can't fall behind the likes of TOKUSOU! I must solve this case! And Shin's still wondering why those two were chosen to be part of the special team, even though he's achieved great things. Again with the I, it's we. Let's solve this case. Together. Shin's undoubtedly a talented person, but he has the tendency to be competitive with other people, other than me. While it's good to have ambition, it can sometimes make you lose sight of your objective. Let's change the topic more. Shin, when this case is solved, let's have a drink to celebrate.
Why are you talking about what we're going to do after the case?
Because it's a good thing. And speaking of alcohol, we should get Japanese sake.
Right. And I do like sake.
Again with the I.
We like sake? That cute little face!
I hope this helps to ease his frustrations a little. Listen, Shin, don't be hasty. Hastiness impairs your ability to make judgment. I've seen many people get in trouble because of it. Stay calm. What does a detective do?
Find the culprit and arrest them.
That's right. The parties involved are the victims and the perpetrators of the incident. We are a third party. That's why we can't look at the incident from an objective perspective. What's the point of getting worked up and raging? We should do everything in our power to find the evidence and arrest the culprit.
Apologies, Masaomi.
I hope you understand. Of course, under normal circumstances, he's a calm professional who tracks down culprits. But he will lose his cool when he meets up with TOKUSOU. I'll keep that to myself though, because if I say anything, we'll just circle back to an argument.
Masaomi, let's go. Let's catch the culprit. Together.
That's the spirit. Seems like things are back to normal. Let's go, partner. Right. Let's bring down those bastards who kill people in such cruel ways.
Oh, that was pretty short. Nice. Don't know what was necessary with that scene, but I guess it's like showing how both of them were feeling through all of this. But anyways, let's go with MIKO and AMAKUSA and see what's happened.
1 week ago, I, MIKO AMAKUSA, will be forever united with my older sister, Mako AMAKUSA. My older sister and I are twins. We are the same in every way. We're identical twins, so we share the same genes. But that alone doesn't make us completely related. When I would see identical twins on TV who look nothing alike, I would look away in fear.
Excuse me?
Will there be a day when my sister is not with me anymore? Will there be a day where we'll look different? I don't want the story to be as... I don't want this to be the story! I want to be with my sister! We have to be together! The people my sister chose to be friends with, I would stay friends with them no matter what. On the other hand, people she dislikes, she would cut them up without hesitation.
Oh my god.
When my older sister's baby teeth started to fall in, I hated the fact that mine were the only ones that didn't. So I pulled them out with pliers so that they would all fall at the same time.
What? Excuse me? I mean, my teeth got a little weird there.
When my sister had a pimple that I didn't have, I would cut it with a knife.
Oh my god.
It was extremely painful, and she bled a lot. But I was happy to be able to be with my sister.
Good grief.
We have the same appearance, height, weight, likes, dislikes, father, mother, and even the same birthday. But no matter how hard we tried, there was one thing we didn't have the same, and that was the same body. Yes, my sister and I exist in different bodies. There was nothing we could do about that. I can't put my consciousness into my sister, and she can't put her consciousness into me. So me and my sister research on how to be one. Apparently, a long time ago, there was an experiment abroad where twins were put together for surgery. However, during the experiment, an infection happened, and the twins were killed by their parents, unable to bear the pain. In short, we realized that it was impossible to be with my sister through the power of science. If science was no good, then... What's wrong? There's still some time before the ceremony, you know? One-chan. So we decided to try our hand at the occult. After making up our minds, we decided to act quickly. My older sister had always loved magic, so I immediately agreed to her suggestion to make a deal with the devil.
Oh, so that's what happened.
And asked for me and my sister to be united as one. My sister and I are dressed the exact same right now. Exactly the same. We're so used to matching outfits, so it wasn't that hard to do so. I used to worry about summoning the devil. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. The devil is not like a pair of pliers or a knife.
Yeah, no shit.
Besides, will the devil really grant our wishes?
Obviously, no! The devil always has some trickery on their minds whatsoever.
I've heard stories of how they twist their wishes and end up killing the person who's made the wish.
So, yeah, we're basically getting the gist of what happened before the entire incident.
If you're worried, we could cancel the ritual, you know? No! If I were to stop, then I'd rather die here with you, dear sister! Kidding. My older sister's so mean. When we're together, everything's half, right? That's right. Everything we eat, see, experience, we all share the same thing. I'm looking forward to all of this. Yes, our long-awaited ultimate half-share is finally coming true. Well then, let's get started. The ceremony begins. My sister and I will become one.
Uh-oh. Whoa, that face! Uh-oh.
How did this happen? It failed. The ritual failed. The devil took my sister's heart. My sister!
Oh, so that, yeah, I thought that was the case when she mentioned the devil and then her sister's heart being ripped out.
Why did it only take my sister's heart? If it had taken mine too, we could have become one. What should I do? What should I do? I have to remove my heart too. How? Removing your own heart is Wait. I'm sure the book I was looking up with my sister had a method for bringing the dead back to life.
Oh.
If I die, I won't be able to bring my sister back to life. Calm down, calm down. I looked over the process again. A spell for Hekate, a monk shoe for the Datura, and then... Wow, it's simpler than I thought. A ritual to bring the dead back to life. Wait for me, sister. I'll bring you back to life. And we'll be together this time. Forever.
So that's how everything started. Damn. So yeah, that's why also the reason why the occult path is kind of the wrong story. Because basically that was the whole gist, to bring her sister back to life. And in episode 6 now that we're gonna watch with MIKO and AMAKUSA again, confirms that the scientific path was the right path. And that's how the story actually went. So yeah, let's watch it. Yeah, the bloody scene. Holy shit. I'm glad they didn't show the corpses again.
Sorry, sister. They were so noisy. I asked them to leave. Yes, I sent them home, but not their home. I sent them to the afterlife. It was shortly after receiving the call from those 2 detectives that I offered them some tea. The police officers drank the tea without any suspicion, without even realizing the poison I spread. Perhaps because they were built bigger than both Mom and Ami, the effect was weaker than I thought it would be, but it was still enough to render them almost defenseless. I was a bit annoyed that the youngest officer tried to resist until the end, but that was it.
Aw, that one cop that was friends with Senna, how cruel.
I better get going now. There isn't much time. I need to begin the ritual of resurrection. According to the call, it won't be long before those 2 detectives come back. If I don't hurry, they'll get in the way. Well, if that happens, I could just kill them as well. But interrupting the ritual will break my concentration, and there's no guarantee the devil will betray me again. So, let's unveil the new ritual.
So basically the girl we confronted in the scientific path was MIKO this whole time, by the way.
This will be my new sister, who's got Mom and Ami's body. The day after my sister died, I stripped away what I didn't need and gathered up what I needed. I'm confident about this work, but I wonder if my sister will like it. Yeah, I'm sure she'll like it, because my sister and I are going to be united. Isn't that right, big sister? I talked to my sister as if she were here.
Oh! Wait, was she seeing the ghost of Mako? Oh!
Yes. Good work, Miko.
Or maybe she was just hallucinating at this point. I don't know. But in the end, the scientific path, they do show that the sisters were united. So I'm pretty sure the ghost was there the entire time.
See? She's happy. I'm sorry I let the devil take my heart. Now I can't be with you. Don't apologize, sister. I'm the one who should be sorry for letting the devil take your heart. No need. You're alive. And we'll become one again. My sister's so kind. She never complains to her little sister. After all, my sister is a goddess. This time I won't fail. Right, big sis? It'll be fine. Second try is the best. You'll succeed this time. That's right. Second try is the best, so there's no way I'll fail. As expected of my sister. Come on, Miko. Be brave and get ready. Yes, sister. This one is sewn together. It's hard, but it's still easy. Next, the sailor uniform. The socks are also placed on the feet so as to properly form a human shape. If I don't do this properly, when my sister comes back to life, she won't have clothes to wear and will be naked. Well, that wouldn't be good. What are you doing, Miko? Hurry up, or the police will be here. That's right, sis. I'm sorry. Well then, we'll deal with that later, okay? Sure? Okay. Later. Okay, my sister's naked. I have to work hard. Although I already finished, the necessary preparations are ready. Next, the costume. This is a matching black robe that I made with my sister. My sister's in a sailor uniform and I'm in a black robe, so it's a bit strange to think that we're the same, but we'll be together soon. Until then, wait patiently. Now I'm ready. Okay, Miko. Are you ready? Yeah, that's right. I need to make sure that the ritual works this time. It's okay. I'm with my sister, so there's nothing to be scared of. Well then, let's begin.
Police! Stay where you are!
Just as I was about to perform the ritual, a familiar voice rang out.
And there you have it! Oh my god, so that's exactly what happened before we arrived there. Also the one thing that remains question is when she had turned her head and then the 180 thing and just blew our character away. I guess the only thing I could guess about that part is that, you know, seeing the spirit of Mako, maybe it was Mako who I don't know, I guess the spirit was inside of her or something, and that's how she was able to unnaturally do all that shit. I'm not sure. I guess that's the only guess I could say, unless you guys have another take on this with the whole thing. But yeah, that is basically it. That's pretty much it for the episode of the half case. So yeah, now we'll be moving on to chapter 3, which will be about an idol who's been killed. I will say, unfortunately, after this, the first 2 chapters with the Lady in the Trench Coat and this one, they were particularly good. They were very well done. But unfortunately, after this, the chapters, the stories kind of starts to crumble a bit. It does come back up a bit with chapter 5. But unfortunately, we will have to be going through a little bit of a struggle trip at least personally for me, I didn't like chapter 3 and 4 much. Chapter 4 was fun. It had a lot of goofy moments, which didn't make it that boring, but chapter 3 in particular, it had a lot of it was a very unnecessary story. I feel like they were trying to show us some kind of lesson, but I just couldn't get into it. I'm pretty sure you'll probably understand what I'm talking about, but yeah, chapter 3 and 4, unfortunately, chapter 4 it's okay, but chapter 3 is like probably my least favorite, but we have to play it. So anyways, yeah, first of all, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Shin Hayarigami 2 Chapter 2 Half Case. If you guys have not seen the Lady in the Trench Coats chapter, or you haven't seen Shin Hayarigami 1, I will be leaving a link in those in the description if you guys want to check it out. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you really did enjoy it, click the like button. It really helps out a lot. If you're not subscribed to the channel, would appreciate if you do. Also leave your comments and your thoughts on this video or anything in general. And yeah, that is pretty much it, my lovelies. I love you all. Appreciate you. And we'll be seeing you on the next one. Goodbye.